Okay, we'll get started with Xander Bogaerts. First question for Xander. Could start with Sam in the front row on the left.
Xander, obviously you've done a lot of winning in the postseason with the Red Sox. Losing yesterday, this has been a Padres team that has bounced back nicely all second half. To you, what are the keys to bouncing back after last night?
I mean, just doing what we've been doing the whole year. Turn the page. Playoff times, you can get some really heartbreaking losses, and it's part of the game, and there's really good teams competing in big environment, big situations. Those guys, they bounce back, We put runs on them early, they came back, and then we scored again, and, just couldn't get that final hit towards the end, to kind of, bounce back, but I feel like we've been doing it the whole year where right now it's just a part of our identity, just bouncing back and being able to overcome that.
You scored some runs early, then the final 6 innings, quieter, couldn't cash in the late opportunities in the 8th and the 9th. How did you feel about those final 6 innings offensively against their bullpen?
We know one of our biggest strengths is our bullpen, and not every night those guys are going to be, putting up zeros like they normally do for the most part of the year, and I'll take those guys in our bullpen any day, over everyone. So sometimes you got to understand it's not going to go their way every time. Just a tough situation for it to not go our way in the postseason game 1. But those guys, man, they've done a tremendous job. Whenever we put some runs on the board, they kind of keep it quiet, kind of shut down the bats from the other team. But yesterday was their bullpen. They did a good job keeping us off the bases.
Yesterday, Jackson had a couple of really good plate appearances in front of you, one of them before your 2-run double. Just, seeing him his first postseason experience, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, that one against Kopech. Just fouling it off, just that kid definitely doesn't look like he's 21, I can tell you that. The way he plays, the way he carries himself, definitely a lot of credit to himself, his family, for the upbringing and just showing him the way. This kid is really special, and I think he has a chance to do a lot of special things. He's already done a lot, but looks like he has a really bright future ahead of him, and hopefully I'm there for all of it.
Bryce on the left side.
Xander, given all your experience in playoffs, World Series, all the performances you've seen at the highest level and the biggest situations, how do you put in context what Ohtani's doing right now?
He's one of the best players in the game. He's had a phenomenal season this year. First year with the Dodgers, first postseason game. That homer, tough pitch too. It wasn't like it was a pitch down the middle. He seems like he's seeing everything like a balloon right now. So he's been seeing it like that the whole year. So hopefully we can keep him quiet for tonight and the rest of the series.
Alden in the back row.
Over here, Xander. When compared to last year, this offense is a lot better at situational hitting and coming through in high leverage situations. And I know maybe a lot of that has to do with Luis Arias and Jurickson Profar and Jackson Merrill being in it. But how much of it was just sort of the guys coming back from last year, just sort of buying into like an unselfish approach offensively? And how did that process take place?
I think, bringing in Louis definitely helped a lot. He starts it for us. I saw Profar said wherever he goes, we go. We kind of follow him. And he's been putting up really good at bats. Just, it's very contagious. Not trying to get too homer happy. Just trying to take your base hits, single the pitchers to death, get runners on base, and then boom. Like a 2-run homer for Manny yesterday. So looking for that big punch after you kind of put some guys in motion, put some guys on base, get some walks. I know some guys might not be swinging it the way they want to this postseason, but they're taking their walks. Walks aren't hits, but they're getting guys on base, and they're getting on base. So there's credit to those guys, and the offense that we have, we know we're gonna come through.
Go to AJ in the second row.
Xander, the way you described Ohtani reminded me kind of the way you described Ortiz during his run in the 2013 playoffs.
No.
Okay.
That was different. That was I think he hit 714 in the World Series. trying to get intentional walk and still getting hits. I mean, that was definitely the best thing I've ever seen being on a baseball field, like in a series, and the magnitude of the series too. You know, World Series. It's nothing that I've seen close to that. Yeah.
If you could, from all the experience that you have in the postseason, what have you kind of learned about the teams that have been able to thrive in it? What does it take to win?
You got to bounce back quick. You know, as I said, in the playoffs, you got some really, really tough losses. Last night, I mean, was one. You know, we kind of were ahead twice in the game. You know, and trusting our bullpen, knowing how good they are. You know, we kind of thought we might have it. You know, but that's baseball. Those guys have a really good team over there, and I think the best part of our team is the ability to bounce back, you know, and flush out what happened yesterday and focus on today. You know, once we get in that hitters meeting, talk about our plan and then how we're going to execute it against these guys.
Jeff standing up on the left side.
Xander, you won a World Series here with Mookie. Can you kind of just take us back to your headspace back then and the future you guys maybe thought you had in front of you as Red Sox?
It's another special player there, you know. Definitely played my years with him there. He was the best player. I mean, I've played with for sure. Still doing it in Dodger Blue this time, you know. So it's very nice to be able to see that he's continued it. You know, I mean, we still talk and stuff like that, you know. But pretty special player, pretty special person. You know, we had a nice run together. It was a nice long stretch that we had together as teammates and on really good winning teams, making the playoffs pretty much, if not every year, we're at least in it, you know, for the race towards the end. But we definitely had some special times, and playing yesterday here brought definitely some memories back of that World Series here.
You guys ever talk and be like, how did we end up here playing on the West Coast for rivals?
Nah, I mean, he went first, you know. I mean, he got traded, you know, not like, I don't know if it's something that he wanted or not, but I mean, I don't think he had a no-trade clause, so they traded him. He had to go, you know. So he was the first one to leave, and that really took a hit on our team, our organization. I mean, taking our best player, trading him to another team, that was really tough, you know. And since then, I mean, pretty much for his whole career, he's been the best or one of the best players in the game. So, I mean, credit to him and all his hard work and what a guy that he is. You know, he's special for sure.
I'm gonna go to the third row in the middle.
Hi, Xander. You have been watching Ha-Seong Kim playing All-Star World this season. What is your impression, and how tough is it right now, make it through without him?
It's tough, you know. I mean, I was hurt this year, and for the first time, I've been out for a long time, and the feeling of you showing up to a ballpark, not being able to help in the way that you want or the way that you know you can. I mean, it's tough to see from afar, you know. I mean, Joe had to go through it for some stretch this year. Darvish was out for a little bit. Toddy was out, but this was my first year being out, so I know how tough it is. And seeing the team have success is they're definitely happy for the team, but it still hurts you a little bit, you know, because you want to be out there and you feel like even if I'm out there, the team will probably be even better than what we are, you know. So I know the shoulder isn't an easy thing to go through, and hopefully he gets what he needs done. And I mean, I don't really know what the future holds for him, his contract situation, but he's definitely been an excellent teammate and a guy that makes my job easier being in the infield, to tell you that for sure, because he catches pretty much every ball hit to him or close to him.
David?
Xander, following up on all your postseason experience, there's never been more than 2 seasons that you've gone without playing in the playoffs. So how blessed do you feel to have been able to do that? And number 2, have you shared the experience of winning a couple World Series with your teammates in San Diego who have not won a World Series yet?
Definitely blessed, you know. I mean, listen, I always said I was in the World Series my first year, you know, and the amount of pressure playing out of position. I was at third base at that time. It was really hard, and trying not to mess it up on the biggest stage was really hard, you know. And after winning my first year, I kind of thought that this was how it's supposed to be or how it's going to be, you know. And I think the next 2 years we were last place. So that was tough, you know. I tell them, like, just appreciate, like, getting this far isn't by luck or is it by accident, and appreciate it because you never know when you're going to get the opportunity to be at this stage again, and early on in the season when I was hurt watching the games from TV, I'm telling these guys, like, man, we have something really special, and one of the things was the ability to come back in games, or after tough defeats, we bounce back the next day like nothing happened. Sometimes that can drag along, like, oh man, we should have won that game, and it just drags on, and this team, we don't have none of that, and one of the other best parts of this team is not one person that has to do it every night, In 2013, David was the one that did a lot of it. We obviously had a lot of big hits from other guys in that series, Johnny Gomes, Victorino. In the World Series, they had some really big hits, so this year I feel like we compared more to the 2018 Red Sox, like just a powerhouse, offense, the pitching, the bullpen, it's just unbelievable what we have right now.
We'll go to AJ, and then we have Pedro in Spanish.
Xander, I don't know if you knew that Jackson's triple in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series he was the youngest guy to do it since yours in the World Series. Did you get any flashbacks, like watching him run around the bases there?
I didn't know, but once he hit it, I was like, I know I hit one when I was that young, but I don't know if I was the last one to do it, but I definitely did but I didn't know that was the exact answer. But this guy, me at that age, I played in the World Series, but this guy was so much better than me at that age, and what's even more special is seeing him do it in a whole major league season. I got called up. I had success in the minors and played a little bit in the big league, so it was much different, my situation, compared to him. Him being so consistent throughout the whole year. This guy started off hitting at the bottom of the lineup. You could probably say you can hit third or fourth in our lineup. Credit to the guy. That's just how good he is, and how hard he's worked, and he's earned that, and I think in the future, definitely that's probably one of the positions that he's going to put himself at, to be a very special player. But definitely, once he hit that, I thought about that. I just wasn't sure.
We'll finish up with Pedro.
Xander, compártenos un poco de la fortaleza mental que tiene que tener un equipo, ¿no? A pesar de estar abajo en una serie, las cosas, hay suficiente tiempo, espacio y llevar las cosas con calma.
Bueno, nosotros sabemos que en los playoffs cada juego es importante, y una de las cosas más importantes es la habilidad de cambiar la página. Eso yo creo que el equipo de nosotros tenemos una tremenda habilidad en eso. Lo hemos hecho en la temporada entera. Teníamos un par de derrotas un poco fuertes, pero al siguiente día regresamos como que no pasó nada, y yo creo que eso es algo que este equipo de nosotros es muy grande, una de las cosas muy grandes que tenemos, y obviamente a pesar del talento que tenemos es la habilidad de cambiar la página y enfocar en el siguiente día.
Para el juego de hoy con Yu Darvish, la confianza que tienen en el picheo, sabiendo que puede darles una salida de calidad para ganar este encuentro.
No, Yu Darvish es un pitcher muy veterano, muchos éxitos en Japón, muchos éxitos aquí en Estados Unidos. Yo siempre he dicho, Yu Darvish es el abridor más difícil que yo he encontrado, que yo tenía que batear en contra. Nunca puse la bola en juego contra él, siempre me ponchó, entonces él para mí era el más difícil, y siempre cuando lo veo en el equipo, yo también le he dicho eso a él, y obviamente es verdad, y tengo mucha confianza en él, seguro.
All right, thanks, Xander. Appreciate you coming in.
You got it.
And that concludes today's pregame interview room.